Hi, this weekend I watched Bloodbath at the House of Death, a 1984 horror spoof directed by Ray Cameron, co-written by Barry Cryer, and produced as a star vehicle for its leading man, Kenny Everett. Everett was a big star by the early 80s. He'd started out as a DJ whose comedy bits in between records got him a huge following. Eventually, that turned into him being the star of his own sketch show on television for uh, much of the 80s. This is Everett's only film role, and it's a horror parody, as I say, incorporating bits of The Haunting, The Legend of Hill House, the Amityville Horror, with a group of scientists and experts convening in a remote house, the site of a massacre 10 years earlier at the hands of a satanic cult, and trying to investigate what might have happened while the cult plans its next move. It's a deliberately bizarre film, and while I was watching it, I was thinking that this is basically like a British horror counterpart to Airplane. It's packed with anything goes jokes. Um, it's it's not concerned about reality. It's not concerned about overall coherence of the narrative, although it does have a, a basic story that actually does hang together. But it's about how many bizarre jokes can you pack into the running time. There are lots of homages to more contemporary horror, like Alien, The Shining, Carrie. There's various recognizable British actors in supporting roles. Got Gareth Hunt, Don Warrington from Death in Paradise. Um, Vincent Price has a cameo. He's in a few scenes with only a handful of lines of dialogue. Pamela Stephenson is the second lead. It's mostly very entertaining. There are some over the top bits, like Everett's scientist character has a prosthetic leg, which looks like he's stolen it from the suit of armor, but it means that he can do a bizarre comedy limp all the way through the movie. There are some deranged twists and turns in the plot, um, where uh, the satanic cult winds up involving clones and then aliens, and it's throwing every bizarre idea it can into the pot to try and get it to work. Vincent Price, in his few scenes, is very entertaining. He swears on camera for I think the only time in his career. Overall, I found it very enjoyable. It's very gory. It is to Everett's maxim about screen violence, which is that the more gory and the more over the top you have, the less disturbing it is because it's so bizarre. So you have severed heads spraying all the way up a wall, for example. That's funny. That's over the top. Whereas like a little paper cut is nasty. So we have ridiculous amounts of gore, but it's all like custard pies. It's very much the Sam Raimi idea of blood and guts in the place of custard pies. But yes, I enjoyed it a great deal. It's a very fast paced, energetic movie. It's often very funny. It looks great. It's I think Ray Cameron's only film as director. It has an uncredited cameo from his then young son, Michael McIntyre. So it's the only film to feature both Michael McIntyre and Vincent Price. And overall, I enjoyed it a great deal. It seems to be sort of floating around here and there. It turned up on Talking Pictures TV quite recently, where I watched it. And yes, I'd recommend it very much. Lots of fun.